Alright. I guess we're live. Alright. So, hi, I'm Sharif. And this is Barbie for the NES. And it's gonna be a thing, I promise. It's definitely gonna be a video game. So I can explain the deep lore for this game if we just watch the opening cutscene, so let's go ahead and do that. So, once upon a dream. Alright. Wow, what a great book. So here's Barbie in bed after a long day, reading a book. She loves reading about mermaids. That's foreshadowing, that's what we call that. She's getting sleepy, so yeah. So this game takes place in Barbie's dreams, and she's going to dream about meeting up with Ken. Alright. Yeah, Lanx, he knows all about that stuff. Alright, having lunch at the soda shop, also foreshadowing. Alright, and 3, 2, 1, go. Go. Alright, so I'm gonna get a couple things out of the way real quick. Yes, that is Barbie's jump sound. And yes, you're gonna hear a lot of it because this is a platformer. So, the main mechanics in this game, those Z's are health, and we have those charms in the bottom left corner of the screen. They're going to be how you interact with the rest of the game. You cannot interact directly with anything. You have to use those projectiles, and the projectiles have very interesting physics. So as you can see here, if you feed this toucan, the toucan becomes a moving platform. So that's what the left-right charm does. The X charm stops things. We never ever use it in the run, because we never want to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. It's a speed run. And the question mark basically triggers random actions depending on what you ask, what object you use it on. So as you've noticed, I was being attacked by those dastardly, horrible beach balls. And so in order to defeat these beach balls, we have to attack the beach ball dispenser at the source by feeding the kitty. And so there we go. Alright, so that was the first boss down, and you'll find that these bosses are very interesting. Health does not matter at this part of the game, but the health routing for the rest of the game is actually quite precise. So we'll see that when we get there. So this is going to be the second boss. It is Dancing Clothes with No Body is the name of my split for this particular boss. There is a quick kill for it. It's impossible. I'm going to go for it anyway. I already didn't get it. So we're just going to go take it nice and slow now. Alright, so that was the second boss down. Alright, so this is where health routing starts to become a thing. I needed at least 5 health in this stage coming in. I have, it looks like 7, which is way too many. We're going to go ahead and use this warp found by the TAS that warps us forward and refills our health. So we want to come out of this stage with at least 7 health for the next stage where we take a whole bunch of damage boosts. Lots and lots of damage boosts. We're going to grab this, that's an optional health, so we can take 1 extra damage boost later in the level. Also, shout out to this really weird mall, with the, I don't know if, I've never personally been to a mall where there are, jumping fish everywhere. I'd be kind of off-put by it, but that's, you know, it's not a big deal. So yeah, those strategic stops basically set this this pattern to be really friendly, and so now we can just hit right and move on to the end of the stage. This was the hardest stage for me casually. I died a bunch. Why did I play this game casually? I collect NES games, and I was testing it out. I'm like, hey, this looks like fun. So this is a real NES experience right now. All right, so that was totally free, and so now we're gonna take a bunch of damage boosts through these nice little waterfalls. The reason it's so important to have 7 health is that we have to take 6 hits here. If we have one too few healths, we actually have to wait for 2 of these waterfalls. They're on a global timer. There's no way to change it. And so if you actually have to wait for those, you lose almost a minute. So it's these 2 you'd have to wait for. But instead, we basically boost through one and deal with the other, and we got the extra health, so we can actually boost through this guy as well, and so we got with exactly 1 health. This is not Barbie Game Girl. This is what Barbie Game Girl wanted to be. Alright, this is the pizza stage. Here's why. Pizza. Pizza. That's a pizza. Pizza. Up and over. That's a pizza. We're going to grab the health and jump over the pizza. Alright, so now it's time for the toucan. This is the red toucan. Anybody who runs this game, which is like 4 people, will tell you how terrible the hitbox on this toucan is right here. And we missed it. That's fine. We missed it again. That's less fine, but that's fine as well. Alright, and that's good to go. So that was the pizza stage. It was good stuff. So, thanks, Drex. So now, to defeat those pizzas, we're gonna, again, regress back to pizza dough. And where does pizza dough come from? Pizza dough comes from a pizza oven. So there's a few tricks you can do here. So if you jump right as the screen is scrolling to bring the boss into the game, you can basically get farther in, and in this case, you can use your invincibility to never get hit. I also got a second jump in there, which means that was frame perfect. So this game has frame perfect tricks, as you can tell right there. That's actually not the only frame perfect trick that you have. These cutscenes are 100% unskippable, so they're kind of long. They're like 15 seconds long each. So this is the good way. This is a good time to stay hydrated. So if you want something to drink or something, this is the time to do it. All right, let's go to the beach. We're gonna skip those cutscenes, but trust me, she says let's go to the beach. So when I say let's go to the beach, I mean let's be Mermaid Barbie and solve a coral maze. This is good stuff. So as you might have seen, the beginning of this run is more like a speed mosey. She doesn't walk particularly fast. But this part of the level, so for the 2 underwater levels, you can actually mash up to 8 presses per second, and she will go that fast. I am left-handed and can't mash that well with my right thumb, so we're gonna go nice and slow and enjoy the scenery. Mermaid Barbie also has a very strange hitbox, as you can see. There's no, her head is not in her hitbox, and her tail is not in her hitbox, so it's just like the middle of her torso, and so we use that to our advantage in a bunch of spots. To basically cut a bunch of corners, like basically all of that. Oh, and we actually managed to mash through there. I usually take damage there because I don't mash fast enough, but we actually did it this time. The way that this maze works is basically, if you go the wrong way, there is an evil jellyfish that has its own music. It's like the Jaws theme. It goes da-na, 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 and it will basically grab you and kill you. Kind of like the whale in Bubble Bobble, if anybody's ever played that game. This is an unskippable auto-scroller, where Barbie is 100% invincible. Also, keep an eye out on Barbie here. So you can see that Barbie's torso is now gone because there's too much green on screen from the turtles. So that's good programming, which I like. This is another time where if you want to, you can, stay hydrated, get some water in. Alright, so this is the second half of the underwater stage. This is also kind of a maze. It's more like a puzzler of sorts, and there's all sorts of stuff that you can do here. You're basically supposed to use all of your charms and all that stuff to solve these wind puzzles, but you can just mash through all of that, so we're not going to bother with all that junk. You saw that we actually switched to the question mark charm. We're going to do that. We're going to use that for the rest of the stream. Oh, yes. The rest of the run. We're going to feed the dolphin. The dolphin basically takes us past the invisible barrier there at the end. Let's go for the quick kill here. When I say quick kill, I mean the kill that I came up with on my very first playthrough of the game. So there you go. Alright, so that's the second of 3 worlds down. So this is the second long cutscene here. I just wanted to give a shout out to Link7777. He did the task for this game because this game definitely deserved a task. And the world record holder, Kai Yang, she's helped me a lot get a lot better at this game. And her help in White Hat 94, who has the number 2 time. She has a 1233. White Hat has a 1237. I have a 1241. So just shout outs to them. They're cool people. Alright, so let's go to that soda shop. She said she had a lunch at a soda shop, so she's going to dream about it ahead of time. And we're going to go to the 50s. Poodle skirt. You see that poodle skirt? We're in the 50s now. So this is supposedly where like all of the game comes together, and you have to use like all of your knowledge and all of these sort of different charms to basically get through the level. But they give you so much health in this game that you're better off just tanking damage and then grabbing more health later. You saw that I jumped... Poverty Babs, yep. You saw that I jumped on the side of these... on the side of those teacups, so that steam actually does give you damage, and if you land on the steam, it will give you damage. But there are two pixels of safe space on each side of those teacups when there's steam, and so I got both of them, which is pretty rare. So I'm happy about that. That was bad. That's okay. So yeah, I gotten 2 of the T-skips already, and there's a third one. That's the hardest one coming up. So yeah, here's the third one. And I did not quite get it. We did land, but I hit right just a little bit too soon. All right. So we're gonna jump over here. We're gonna feed the burger. The burger's gonna spit out its bun and turn off the soda, which is great. We're gonna hoo-ah here. So we're gonna feed this soda, and it's gonna send us over there. We're gonna grab this health for safety because it's a marathon run. This is the hardest jump in the game. We got it. All right. And we're coming up to the drippy soda fountain boss. It's going to kill you by being inefficient. So we're going to go ahead and use the fact that we can jump in to a boss and the fact that we can throw gems before the boss can hurt us and finish that quickly. This is the Toad 22484 stage because you can get eaten by a giant burger, so WFR burger. So the way this works is there are 2 sets of these 3 fries, and these fries kind of work like the fish from the earlier fountain level. If you have 6 health, then you can run right through these and then just take the hits. But if you stop in the middle, that second fry there at the very edge, or the right edge of it, you can actually avoid taking any damage with very minimal time loss. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But since we have all the health in the world, we're just going to go ahead and just take all the damage. We need at least 3 health coming out of this stage, and we have 5, so that's really good. All right, so there's the dessert menu. We're gonna now beat some thick shakes. So we're gonna use the same thing where we can do damage to the boss before it can do damage to us. This is called the Deadly Ice Cream Sundae in my splits. All right, and we're done. All right, so coming up is the worst stage in the game is what I call it. And you're gonna find out why in a second here. So we're going to, this is a precision platforming level in a game where there isn't tons of precision platforming. So basically, you have to jump on these notes. This note is 5 pixels wide. And so if you fall, you actually get taken to the beginning of the level, and you actually see the whole thing. And if I fall this late, I lose like 20 seconds. Yeah. And so that's how that works. The only way to avoid getting taken back to the beginning of the level, and we're actually not going to get that health, but we don't need it, so it's fine. So this is the final boss right here. The final boss is basically this jukebox. You just need to keep all 3 of these coins turning. We're going to use some sort of modified version of the task strat, which is kind of risky, but I've gone for everything in this run. So, oh, that was frame perfect. That's really unfortunate. Darn it. All right, 1250. That's really good. So yeah, that's the run. So it's 1249, something like that. Fortunately, I did it fast enough there. All right, so we can watch this little ending cutscene here. Yeah, Kai, she's great. This fight looks familiar. So yeah, there you go. So this is the ending screen. We're gonna use these. My PB is 1241, so that's good. I'm happy with that run. So we got our shoes, as you can see there. We used the records to get to our shoes, and now she's in her beautiful gown, and she's meeting up with Ken in her dreams. So there you go. So there she is. Look how beautiful. She's so beautiful. So yeah, and so that does it for me. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This was my first marathon run ever. I think the next game up is Bucky O'Hare. Bucky O'Hare is a much better game than this and a much better speedrun than this. So enjoy that because it's pretty great. Yeah, there's no maze. Yeah. The maze is added specifically for Barbie Game Girl. Yep, it's very strange. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. I really appreciate that.